Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Craig Flint. It is time for another Weather Academy here on YourErie.com. We thank you for being here, and this is kind of a recap of a topic that we covered a few months ago. But it's a pretty prudent topic as we go forward here. Because a lot of us are experiencing drought conditions, especially in the western part of the United States. And why is this important again? Why do we want to kind of look into this again? Well, because we're also kind of getting a little bit more of a picture on how the winter might unfold here as we go deeper into October and into November. We start to get signals on what the winter is going to be like. Now, by no means is it a slam dunk, but with the drought that we have ongoing, especially across the western United States, the winter will be key, and early indications are, especially for like the Pacific Northwest, it could be a real snowy winter for them, which will help with the drought conditions out there. However, where we've been ravaged by the wildfires, still going to be an issue, we think, going forward. So let's recap where we have been so far for the season of fall. So that is September, October, November. We've recorded 5.38 inches, but that is still a deficit for the season of almost 2 inches. Now, the recent rain has helped, but we're still a little bit behind. However, we've been able to kind of chip away at that a little bit. By comparison, for the entire year, since Jan 1st, 2020, we've had 30.23 inches. That is still below normal with a deficit of almost 3 inches for the entire year. So yes, we need some rain. Yes, we've gotten a little bit of help, but the bottom line is we are still running a little bit of a deficit. Let's put this up graphically for you. This is the Drought Monitor. We monitor this. New one comes out every week, and you can see anywhere you have the colors shaded on the map here, obviously much more benevolent out to the western part of the United States. So let's take a look out there and notice these deeper reds that you see out here. Some of these areas in western Colorado, Utah, sections of Arizona into New Mexico. That is what we qualify as an exceptional drought, and we're going to kind of go into the different drought categories here in a moment. Back here to the east, even us locally, we do have some areas of the state that are into a severe drought. You could see this kind of yellowish, or I should say darker orange colored, kind of almost like a kidney bean shape there, central PA up into south central New York. That is considered a severe drought on the legend. Now, we're abnormally dry here locally, but look at as you go towards Boston, New England states, that deeper red color. So that is more of an extreme drought for sections of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and into New Hampshire and Maine. So bottom line is, yeah, it's been a little bit of a while since we've had a really good soaking rain. Now, we've had some rain recently, so that will certainly help. But there are still many areas, not only here, but especially out west where they've just, again, been ravaged by the wildfires that need some wet weather. Now, as we look towards the winter, it's starting to shape up as what we call a La Nina winter, which usually means a warmer and wetter winter, especially for the Pacific Northwest. What that means for us locally, still yet to be determined, okay? We're still kind of going through the finer details, but early indications are right now that winter for us will be fairly transient this year. So we'll have much more on that in the coming weeks. Let's recap again. What is a drought? A period of abnormally dry weather sufficiently long enough to cause serious hydrological imbalances. So again, we're abnormally dry here in Erie, and there are a few different types of drought here. And again, we discussed this a couple months back. Meteorological drought, hydrological drought, agricultural drought, and the socioeconomic drought. And we'll break each one of these down for you. But first, we talk about the impacts. Obviously, people, animals, crops, you know, they start to wither up and die off when we have drought conditions. And obviously the animals, you've heard about the stories out west with the animals being displaced with all the wildfires. Same thing for the people too. You know, a lot of places, wineries in California have succumbed to this drought. Destruction of vegetation, soil erosion is a big problem. Water supply shortages as well. That's all what a drought can lead to. And the thing is, especially soil erosion, if you have a burn-scarred area and then you get really heavy rain, that water can't permeate the ground. And then you get mudslides and landslides because there's nothing to really soak up all that water. So this is kind of a multifaceted thing when it comes to drought. So meteorological drought, when a dry weather pattern dominates a particular area, and these usually start and end quickly. Now, we're seeing that out across the western part of the United States. Hydrological drought, low water supply becomes evident, especially streams, reservoirs, groundwater levels. They dry up where there used to be a pond. It's not there anymore. And that usually happens after a long meteorological drought. So again, out west, these are the areas that are experiencing these drought conditions. The agricultural drought, crops become affected. And then the socioeconomic drought. This one is when we start to feel it as people. So the demand for an economic good exceeds supply as a result of weather-related shortfall in water supply. You know, this is the type of drought when we start to feel the impacts. Goods, you know, if you want to go to the grocery store, prices might be up because of the drought for certain things. So this can also happen as well. And that's something that all these droughts can lead to a socioeconomic impact. So it's not something that you really think about, but yeah, I mean, we need that balance. And when things are out of balance, the atmosphere really tries to overcompensate and kind of get things back in balance. However, it's been a tough year for that to take place, especially across the western United States. Now, I showed you the Drought Monitor: dry, moderate, severe, extreme, and exceptional drought. Those are the categories that we define a drought as, and there's the scale. So the darker reds, exceptional, the red color, extreme, orange, severe, moderate is that kind of tannish, and then yellow is abnormally dry. So again, the maps, the new Drought Monitor, released every Thursday. We continue to kind of keep you up to date on that. And the dates and information that we get in the Drought Monitor come from the National Mitigation Center and other sources as well, including meteorologists that monitor the drought conditions. So that's just kind of a background of where we get the Drought Monitor from. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about today is something that we call a mega drought. This is interesting because a mega drought has to last at least 2 decades. And scientists are still studying this. Here's the thing about a mega drought. Sections of the western United States are pretty darn close to this. Pretty darn close to a mega drought, which obviously is evident with all the fires and all the damage that has been caused by the wildfires with no rain. So that's something that, again, scientists are still studying, but again, close to what could be classified as a mega drought out across the western United States. Now, as we go into the winter, we'll see if we can change this up, but right now the signals are indicating a wetter than normal winter, which means snowier than normal in places like the Pacific Northwest. So we'll see if that holds. It would certainly be good news. Now, if we could only get that a little bit more to the south into sections of California and Colorado, that would be a big help. But based on what we're seeing right now with the La Nina winter setting up, it looks like the northern half of the United States will be colder, will be a little snowier, and that's usually the case with a La Nina winter. Yes, it will help the drought, but really, we need it down across like sections of like California and Colorado to really make an impact on this. For us locally, a La Nina winter means a storm track west. Anytime a storm tracks west, you get warm air out ahead of it, and then you wrap in the cold air behind it. So that could have implications on our winter forecast coming up here, and we'll have much more on that in the coming weeks as well. So yeah, we're still talking about drought conditions, especially out west, and even here locally there have been some issues with drought. And right now, we'll have to see how the winter plays out. Again, we'll be kind of fine-tuning that, but right now there are no real indications that anything's going to change anytime soon, with the exception of the Pacific Northwest. We'll see. All right, that is Weather Academy for this week as we kind of recap the drought. We were glad you're here. If you have a question or anything that you want us to cover, you can email us at weather@wjettv.com and we'll delve into it. And just a quick note too, we are in the process of working on our winter weather special, which will be airing down the road in November. Myself and Tom DeVecchio and Tom Atkins looking at a whole bunch of stuff. So we invite you to come back and join us. That will also be here online as well as we get into November. So that's Weather Academy for this week. Thanks for joining me here on YourErie.com. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint. We'll see you next time.